Hi everyone. In this video, we are going to see the syntax of nested if else if ladder, and switch statement. After completing the syntax, then we go for C programs using Visual Studio Code. Let us see the syntax. Now, first we are talking about the nested if else statement syntax. So the syntax is like this. So we are talking about the syntax, right? Now you write small letters if you mention condition and opening brace. Within this, again you write if, again you mention the condition, opening brace, and you write the statements, right? Closing brace, and you write again else spot, opening brace, and you write some statements, right? Closing brace. Now here, closing brace. So this is outer. Within this outer if, we have if block and else block. Right? Now, after this outer if, in continuation, we have outer else. Within this else, again we have if condition statements, closing brace, else part again we have again statements, semicolon, closing brace, and this is the closing brace for outer. So this is outer else. Within the outer else, we have again if as well as else. So what is mean by the nested if else? Having one if else in another if else is called nested if else. And the execution starts from this first if, outer if, and it checks the condition. If the condition is true, it enters into the inner if. If the now in the inner if, again we are checking the condition. If it is true, these statements are executed. Otherwise, these statements under else part are executed. If the first if is false, then goes to else block. Within the else block, again, we're checking the inner if. It is true, then the statements are executed. Otherwise, this else part is executed. So we'll see in detail by using C program later. So this is a simple syntax for this nested if else. Now we go for else if ladder. What do you mean by the else if ladder? We will see the syntax for this. Now the syntax is like this. You write first if, and you mention some condition. If condition, if condition is true, you write some statements here. Right after writing the statements, now you go for the else part. So immediately after else, again we are writing if to check another condition. Right now, after checking this condition, again we are writing some statements. Right, closing brace. Again you can write else, or you can use if, again condition, and we are mentioning some statements. Right, this continues, but at the last it ends with the else part, and here we write some statements, closing brace. So this is the syntax. So having else if multiple times is nothing but ladder, or we write else if ladder. So first the execution starts from here. If the condition is true, then the statements are executed. Otherwise, it checks another condition. The statements are executed. Otherwise, it checks another condition, and so on. But for the last, we are checking only one, that is called else. Here, it doesn't require an if. So this is the syntax of the else if ladder. So after that, we move to the switch statement. Now the syntax of the switch statement is like this. So write the keyword first, switch, and in bracket you have to mention an integer expression, or you can use the character type expression, but it internally converted into integer. After that, you write opening brace. So within the opening brace, you write the keyword as case. After writing the case, you write a constant one or any label one. I'm writing the label one and put colon. Okay. So in the same line, you can write the statements, or in the next line. So I'm writing some statements. You write some statements. After writing the statements, you write the break. Now after this, you write another case label 2. Label 2. Again, you write some statements. Now you go to the break. BREAK, a break, and so on. Last, you can write a case label N and colon. This is colon, please remember. Colon. Label ends with colon. So you write some statements. After that semicolon, you write break. So last option after this, continuation after break, we are writing semicolon. So the last we write default colon and you write some statements. And here don't no need to write the break, just go for the closing brace. So this is the syntax of the switch statement. Now, when the control enters into the switch like this, it checks the integer expression. If the integer expression matches the case label 2, then directly goes to the statements which are under label 2. After that, break statement is executed. Only after executing the case label 2, it comes out of the switch statement. So we are using, that's why break. So we will see while writing C programs, the explanation of switch statement in detail. So with this, we have completed only the syntax part of the nested if else as well as else if ladder and switch statement. So let us have programs using these control statements. We'll see. So now we'll see the C programs using Visual Studio Code using the control statements starting with if else. Now I'm going to implement the program. So write program to implement largest of two numbers using if else simple. Now you know every statement right with the hashing to stdio.h. Now in main, why I'm writing every time? Why? Because you should know how to write the program, right? Now you declare the two variables, right? Integer n1 number 1 comma n2 number 2, right? Now you say printf, right? Enter any two numbers, right? Any two numbers. Okay, now slash in. Okay. Now you read the numbers like we done as yesterday. Percentage D double quote, percentage D double quote close comma ampersand n1 comma ampersand n2, right? Now semicolon. This is the way of reading the two values n1 and 2. Now you write if just you say n1 is greater than or equals to n2. Yesterday we said num1, num2. Now printf percentage D is largest. So use slash n in this case. I'm printing n1 and semicolon. Else, just I'm writing else here. Previously, we have done again, we have written another if condition, but here no need. Just you write if and you write printf, just percentage D is the largest slash n you use. So last statement we write is return 0. Now this is only similar to yesterday's program where we have used if two times, but here I'm using if another one is else. Let us save this program, we will check it. So how the execution will be taken? So first the execution starts on the main. Okay, so before the main we are using hash include. Already I said this is the preprocess directive. We are using this preprocess directive uh, header file. Why? Because in the main we are going to use main printf as well as scanf. If you want to use printf and scanf within the main, compulsory it needs a library header file stdio.h. So this is again I'm remembering you. Now assume that you take n1 and 2. So these values are compared here if n1 is greater than or equals to n2. If the condition is true, this statement is executed. Otherwise, this else part is executed. This statement. As I said yesterday, if there is only one statement, either in if or else, don't use opening brace and closing brace. So after if there is no semicolon, after else also there is no semicolon. If you put semicolon, no problem, but the control is not entered into this printf as well as this printf. It stops the control. So that we already discussed. So let us see the execution for this, whether we are going to get the output or not. So it is asking enter any two numbers. I'm giving 56. Another one is 23. Now it is giving the answer 56 is the largest. We got the output. So this is a program using if else to find the largest of two numbers. Now, so what we are going to do is now we are going to find out the largest of three numbers program using if, that we will see. Now I'm using the same program, but I'm going to delete some of the code. Okay, now here you change program to implement largest of three numbers. Just you write here three numbers using only if. First I'm using if. Next we go for now here you how many numbers? Three numbers, right? So in the declaration part, you declare another number n3, right? Semicolon. So enter any three numbers now you say three numbers, right? Now in the scanf, how many percentage Ds you have to mention? 3% is n1 comma and you mention another one n2, right? N2 another one is n3. Okay, we have read these three state what is say numbers by using scanf. Now you use the statement now if what you do here is you first compare n1 with n2 and n1 with n3, that you do. So if n1 is greater than or equals to n2 and logical and I'm using n1 is greater than or equals to n3, that you write. Okay, now what you have to do here, if this condition is true, then you printf. So when you want to write only one printf, again no need of writing opening brace and closing brace, but by default it is displaying opening brace and closing brace, don't worry. Now printf, you write percentage d is the largest, is the largest, right? You write slash and in this case you have to print, what you have to print? N1, and right. So same concept you have to use for both, and you have to compare N2 with N1, N2 with N3. Next N3 with N1, N3 with N2. That you do. So just I'm copying the same code, Control C, and you write Control V. Again Control V. Three times I'm copying. Why three times I'm copying? Three times I'm writing the same thing. So in the first if what we are doing is we are comparing N1 with N2, N1 with N3. In the second one you would compare N2. So compare N2 with N1 and N2 with N3, right? Now the last if you compare N3 with N3 with N1 and N3 with N2. N1 with N2, N1 with N3. N2 with N1, N2 with N3. N3 with N1, N3 with N2. So you have to compare like this. So three if statements we are writing. Now, in the first if we have printed N1. In the second if you have to print N2, right? In the last if you have to print N3, N3, right? Now, after this, you save the program, Control S. Okay, now run the program. Actually, within this if, no need to write opening brace, closing brace. You can remove for three ifs. Why? Because there is only one printf statement. Now let us run the program. It is asking three numbers, right? For example, I'm giving 3 and 4, 5. 5 is the largest. Okay, if you run again with a different input, for example, I'm writing 10, 8, 6. 10 is the largest. So we're getting the correct output. So this is the example of using if statement to find the largest of three numbers. Same program I'm going to use by using nested if else. How to write the program. So you see there. program to implement the largest of three numbers, but I'm changing it as nested if else. Nested if else. Right, now what we have to do? What are the changes we are going to do? Okay, you come here, same thing. But here what I'm going to do is, if n1 is greater than or equals to n2, then I'm removing this condition. Okay, now within this if, what I'm going to write? I'm going to write another if. If what I said previously n1 is greater than or equals to n2 and n1 is greater than or equals to n3, that I'm mentioning second condition here. N1 is greater than or equals to n3. Right, now within this, if n1 is greater than or equals to n3, I'm saying printf which one is largest, n1. But here I'm using another part else. Under else, what I'm writing is I'm printing printf. I said no, within if we are writing if else, in another else we are writing if else. Printf, just you copy the same statement. Here percentage d is largest. I'm copying the same statement, but I will do some modifications here. Control V you say. Here you print n3. Here you print n3. Right. After this, what you do is now go to else block. If completed, now go to else block. Within the else block, now you check the condition like this. N1, N2, N1, N3 completed. Now we have to check N2 and N3. Okay, if N2 and N3, right? If N2 is greater than or equals to N3, that we will see. If there is no semicolon, put semicolon, right? After this, go to else block. Under this else, we are writing if n2 is greater than or equals to n3. Now you no need of writing this. Printf percentage d is the largest n2 else you write here you write else printf percentage here you write n2 here you write n3, right? Yes, double quotes here. Okay, right. Now we will see. Okay, control S. Now you check it. Right, it is asking three numbers. Okay, you give numbers 5, 6, 9. 9 is the largest. Okay, we got the output, right? Now you try for another output. Okay, 10, 11, 12. 12 is the largest. So we got the output, right? So here what we have done is just we have written the program using nested if else. You see, this is the outer if, right? Within the outer if we have if else. This is the outer else. Within this we have if else. This is a simple program to find the largest of three numbers using if else, right? So we will see more programs in the next session. With this, I'm going to close the session. Thank you very much for watching.